And our reporter Elodie Harper is at a clearing centre in Cambridge. Elodie.
It's extremely busy here at Anglia Ruskin's Clearing Centre. Students have been coming in all day and telephoning, trying to get a place. Across the region, on ordinary streets like this, live extraordinary carers like Rayonna. And carers don't just support their families, they also save the East of England economy almost £10 billion a year. But are we doing enough to support them? The management of the Basildon Academies is currently under investigation here at the Department for Education. And the remit of that investigation does include the option of removing the Academy's sponsor.
Hi Andy, lovely to see you.
In an exclusive interview with ITV News, the Secretary of State said the problems at Basildon are being taken seriously.
There have been one or two sponsors, not just in Basildon, who have not made the difference that we hoped that they would. And we have taken action, already in London, for example, to remove a sponsor who wasn't performing well.
Are you considering removing the sponsor at Basildon Academies?
We'll be taking action shortly.
The Department for Education later clarified that no sponsor has ever been forcibly removed, just encouraged to leave. If Basildon's sponsor were ousted, that would be unprecedented. Good evening. Well, I'm here in an operating theatre at Addenbrooke's Hospital, which together with Papworth Hospital in Cambridge are the two main centres where organ transplants are carried out in our region and indeed in the whole country. This recruitment firm say hiring apprentices gives back to the community, but it also keeps their overheads and wage bill down. Josh and Natasha work here on the national minimum wage for apprentices of £2.60 an hour. The company also pay £300 towards their NVQ qualifications.
Josh is currently one of our top consultants. Natasha more or less runs our compliance department single-handedly, so yeah, they're both very successful.
But do you think it's fair that they've got such responsible positions for £2.60 an hour?
That's a good question. What they've got is an opportunity to work as apprentices and to develop into sort of long-term full-time employees.
What's it like living on £2.60 an hour?
Hard, very hard. It's a lot of Sainsbury's value stuff at the moment, living on the breadline.
Now, given the Prime Minister is out there in Malaysia wanting to sell British business and the fact that £10 million of taxpayers' money has already been invested in the regeneration plan here at Hethel, one can only assume that the Prime Minister will be working very hard in Malaysia to try and ensure that Norfolk continues to be the production base and the heart of Lotus. Visiting Ronald Blythe's home deep in the countryside on the Essex-Suffolk border is an unforgettable experience.
The ash is the sacred tree of Suffolk.
Once the home of painter John Nash, Ronald Blythe says the house has changed little since he first came here in his 20s, but everything else about life in the countryside is different.
What I feel sorry about now is that a lot of people who live in villages don't know anything about the fields. They just pass them in cars, or might walk through them on a Sunday afternoon, whereas our recent ancestors really revered the fields. All their toil for centuries was on the fields, and so I think of the fields as a workplace.
His most famous book is Aikenfield, reflecting life in a Suffolk village over 3 generations, including the First World War.
We must have killed men. Yes, I got several. But the worst thing was the wet.
Peter Hall's 1970s film of Aikenfield was cast entirely from local people.
And then inviting them to improvise within the dialect and the particular rhythms of Suffolk, which are very special. I mean, I don't know any actors who can do it anyway.
The police tracked the man they believed to be the offender down the street, and at Nacton Road they found the man in an agitated state and in possession of a knife. Officers used tasers whilst attempting to detain him, but whilst they were making that arrest, a police dog handler and his dog were both stabbed. Well, that's all for now. I'm back tomorrow evening at 6:30, but from all the weekend team, do have a very good evening.